Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new League of Legends video. So for this video, I want to talk about a very specific champion, one that's becoming more and more popular and successful, especially in Korea. Now I don't usually make these kind of videos, but I thought that this one was definitely something I want to talk about because it is going to be revolving around assassins, or more specifically Talon himself, and it's just a very strong contested pick currently in a very popular and highly skilled region, all because of those lethality buffs. And with that being said, I want to discuss more about Talon and give you guys the build and everything you need to know to get into a game, start playing him, and hopefully have success. So let's start things off by just generally talking about Talon at the very moment and just what makes him so strong and effective and why he's pretty much the best assassin over in Korea, in mid lane, and even among the best of champions in top lane. So without question, the biggest thing that happened that really brought a lot of attention to Talon and many other AD kind of assassin-y bruiser type champions like Zed, maybe like Rengar, Kha'Zix, and even further other champions like that is the lethality buff. This thing does feel extremely strong, but on top of this, there has also been buffs happening to Edge of Night where the cooldown on the item has been lowered quite significantly, and on top of this, the damage done by Duskblade of Drakthar with the true damage has also been buffed. So taking all of these things into consideration, well, the life of an ADC has just only got more difficult. But obviously what I just mentioned doesn't only just specifically apply to Talon, it applies to many other champions. So what exactly makes Talon just supposedly that much better? Well, at the very moment, roaming, especially in the mid lane, is considered to be exceptionally strong, which is why you're seeing even champions like Corki be quite successful in the mid lane because of the roam potential with the package. And Talon's new E ability letting him parkour over walls is probably one of the best ways to roam to other lanes, especially from the mid lane, and also a great way to avoid ganks. So in my opinion, these two things are probably the biggest factors as to why Talon is seeing a lot of play and just being overall very successful. His damage power has just simply increased through the roof because, well, even at level 2, his Q, his W, his passive proc, combined with Ignite, it can deal an insane amount of damage to where a lot of people will be thrown off guard and you can get first blood fairly easily. And another thing I've been starting to notice, and I've noticed this ever since his rework happened, is the initial part of his W where he throws it out the very first time before he comes back in is deceptively long. I mean, it hits things that you feel like it shouldn't hit, so a lot of people will get constantly just hit by this over and over and over in the lane, and it's very easy to abuse. But all in all, Talon is just not only very strong because of the buffs to lethality, but his roam potential is just among the best of all assassins and even champions in general, especially for the mid lane. He can easily avoid ganks, and in this example right here against the Zed, you can see the damage he can do is quite disgusting and very, very quick. So this is definitely a champion you will want to start watching out for and being somewhat cautious and even scared when playing against him, because on top of having that exceptionally strong 1v1 kill pressure with his Q and everything else in his kits, he can also roam successfully, and in team fights he can do a lot of AoE damage even with his new kits, so not a champion you want to take too lightly. But next up, let's talk about the overall build that you want to do when playing Talon, whether you're playing in the mid lane or the top lane. So starting things off with the runes first, which you can do several different things with. The one I have here has lethality reds, flat AD quints, you have HP per level yellow, so you have a mix of CDR per level at level 18 blues, which gives you 10% at level 18, and also the rest being flat magic resistance. Now the CDR per level blues are great because with Yomu's and also Black Cleaver plus the runes, that's 40% CDR right then and there. But if you want, you can definitely go in for just the flat MR blues instead if you really need it against maybe a certain matchup like LeBlanc or something and you just need the extra help. But getting 40% CDR on Talon is extremely strong because it makes your Q cooldown exceptionally low, and this just makes your stick potential ridiculously high. Also for your reds, you can either go lethality or you can go flat AD. It just kind of depends on what you prefer and maybe just whatever feels better for you. And following this, we of course also have the masteries, and this one is going to be fairly straightforward. 12, 18, 0, opting for the Thunderlords just to overall complement your burst. You want to go for the extra movement speed at the very top of the cutting tree because this does synergize with how fast you jump over walls, which we'll further talk about when we look at the items. But all in all, I feel like the mastery page should be somewhat self-explanatory, so there's not much else to say. I guess if you really want, you can get, instead of getting the 5% flat damage but also taking 2.5% increased damage, you can take the one that gives you bonus damage per unique champion killed. But other than that, this should be your mastery page of choice. Next up, let's talk about what items you want to get. Now, this is going to be your more or less core build path for almost every single game. Now, of course, every now and then you can change it up based on what you're facing. Maybe if they have absolutely no magic damage, you can skip out on the Knight's Edge and instead maybe get something like a Guardian's Angel, maybe even a Dead Man's Plate. Again, just really depends on what you're facing. But this build right here, you have all 3 lethality items, your Youmu's, your Duskblade of Drakthar, your Knight's Edge. You have a lot of damage, and on top of that, you also have the percent armor penetration with the Black Cleaver and also the Last Whisper. Again, with your runes, plus the Youmu's and the Black Cleaver, that's 40% CDR, and you also go Boots of Mobility because this simply just synergizes with how quickly your E ability will let you leap over walls. So pop your Youmu's, you have your Boots, you have your Mastery trait as well, which gives you increased move speed out of combat, and you're going to be roaming exceptionally fast and being a very difficult champion to stop and also a difficult champion to catch. Following this, we should also discuss very quickly on what abilities you want to get in what order. Level 1, you want to get your W because usually you're going to be facing a ranged opponent. If you're facing a melee opponent, you can maybe get away with Q, but even then W is still just overall better and safer. Either way, level 2 you want to get Q, then W once again, and you want to get your E at level 4, then max out W, max out Q, max out E, and ultimate whenever you can. And for your summoners, you want to almost always go Flash and Dig Ignite. If you're going top lane, you can maybe sometimes decide to go Flash and Teleport, or you can still go Flash Ignite top lane. It just really depends on how aggressive you want to be and how dominant in the lane you also want to be. If you're facing an assassin in the mid lane that you want to respect and you want to just play really safe, you can also definitely get away with going Exhaust. It just, again, depends on your playstyle, what you're facing, what lane you're in, but the best answer usually will be Flash Ignite. But either way, guys, that is about it for this video. I tried to make it at least as short as I possibly can, just be concise, get to the information that you want to know, and not waste too much time to get that 10-minute mark. But either way, I hope you guys did enjoy this video and find it useful or informative or whatever. Again, Talon is going to be, and is at the very moment, a very strong pick. So you might want to start banning him or at least looking out for him because he's becoming to be extremely dominant in the Korean server. And as usual, things that are dominant there will slowly transition themselves onto every other server like NA, EU, etc. So either way, guys, if you did enjoy the video, make sure to hit that like button to show your support. Let me know down in the comments below what you think of Talon currently in the meta with the lethality buffs and all that good stuff. But I truly thank each and every one of you so much for watching and hope to see you for my next video. Peace. Never should have trusted someone like you.